Hello, card fighters. We are Team Deus. My name is Brandon. Behind the camera, we've got Ethan.
How's it going, bros?
And today, we are rounding out the updated Stargate with Gallop. This was the first deck profile we put up. This is his update now that Stargate is out. I'm sorry we were a little bit slow on this. We were waiting for Victor to come in. So, we'll start at the very beginning. Grandgallop, same starter I used in the first deck profile. People are using that piece, build piece, or whatever it's called, just because it's not GB restricted. I like this better. You rest it. If your Vanguard's 25k or greater, you can choose a unit, give it 4k. And if your Vanguard is 35k or greater, you can pop it into the soul. If you do draw a card and counter charge, it's just a great resource starter. If it gets killed, it's not a huge deal. But for those of you who don't know this deck, these little, if your Vanguard is something, is irrelevant now. I have not seen any card that has a number that you can't reach just by striding. So, yeah, still a good starter. I like it. On to the reason why why those numbers don't matter anymore. Our good friend, Bravest Victor Grandgallop. So, number one, he's a 13k base. So, makes some matches hilarious because you just give it a little bit of a pump and then he becomes very hard to hit with standard rear guards. But the skill we care about, he's got a hand skill, which if you do not have a face upgrade for Gallop on your Vanguard or in your G zone, he can't be normal core to rear guard. It's kind of irrelevant. The part we care about is this part right here, the second skill. On Vanguard, Soul Blast 1, when your G unit strides, you may pay that cost. If you do, choose one of your Vanguards and it gets 12,000 power until the end of turn. So, this card is a 25k base to the plus 15 cards. For those of you who can do simple math, that's 40, right? 40. So, literally every single one of your Vanguard's base power now, your Strident Vanguards, is 40k. So, I've never seen a number higher than 45,000 on any of the cards that require power. That's 2 buffs. Do you know how hard that is in this deck? It's simple. This card makes getting numbers so easy. Changed the whole style of the deck from like kind of comboing off each other to kind of get more power to the Vanguard to just Soul Blast, I'm there. Made the deck very simple. I play 4 copies of Bravest Rush Grandgallop. This thing has a couple nice things. So the thing that we don't really care about is his on stride. When your G unit strides, you can choose a Vanguard. It gets 4k. You have to counterblast. If that unit has a burst ability, you can counterblast and it gets an extra 4k. So it gets the 4k for free, and then if you're counterblast, if it's a burst, you get an extra 4k. So you can give it an extra 8. But we don't care about that. We care about the other 2 skills. So the first skill is at the beginning of your ride phase, if the number of cards in your hand is 2 or less until the end of turn, you may pay stride without paying the cost next time you stride. So, if this is on your Vanguard circle and you've got 1 card in your hand and that 1 card is our good friend Bravest Victor, you can use this thing skill. So the next time you have to pay stride, it's free. Ride over the top of him and then stride for free. You are now the correct Vanguard and you only still lost that 1 grade 3, but it's on your Vanguard circle, which is great. But the thing we care about most is this little piece of text here that says Burst, GB3. When your Vanguard attacks, if your Vanguard's power is 30k or greater, until the end of turn, this unit gets power plus 4k. That's fine. And if it's 60k or greater, oh, there's a number higher than 45, this unit gets a crit. Those numbers are very simple. What's stupid is that's not a once per turn skill. So the restanding Vanguards who have more than 60k, this thing gets crits and crits and crits. So in the worst situations, you swing with 150k twice, your opponent wastes all their hands stopping it, and then you swing in with these guys with an extra 2 crit and deal 3 damage. It is crazy. Love this card, would not play it at any less. I play the resist version of this deck. There is a way to play this that uses a bunch of like it's more greedy in a way, but I play resist because I don't like being interrupted. So I play full Grand Volva. Generally, the text is kind of irrelevant. Act once per turn, counterblast. If your Vanguard's 15k, you can choose another rearguard. It gets 4k until the end of turn. And if your Vanguard's power is 30k until the end of turn, this unit gets, when it hits, countercharge 2. So you can kind of get some resources out of it if your opponent's like, oh, let him hit with that one so I can use all my resources to protect against this Vanguard. But the big thing here is resist Vanguard, rearguard, guard circle. So that's all I care about there, really. I just want to have big rearguards who you can't touch. Speaking of resisting rearguards, I've got another 4 resist units in the form of Grandgallop. Once again, resist, but he's got this cool skill burst, GB1. When he attacks the Vanguard, if your Vanguard's power is 40k, he gets 8k until the end of the battle. So he alone is a 17k beat stick. Considering how this gives a 4k buff, something else gives a 4k buff. With one 4k buff, he's 21k, and suddenly your opponent's throwing away at minimum 2 cards to stop it. Controversy time. I only play 3 Grand Hogan. I think it's more important to have the resist units than it is to have this free draw. For those of you who don't know, burst, counterblast 1 when he's placed on rearguard. If your Vanguard's Gallop, you may pay the cost. If you do, you may draw a card. If it's 40k, you can countercharge and he gains 4k. So you literally counterblast, draw a card, countercharge. So as long as you've got 1 open counterblast and he becomes a 13k, it's good for the turn, and then he kind of becomes dead weight on the board. So I would prefer to have Bulger and the reusable Volva, but he is a great card. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Grade 1s, I play 2 Grand Monk. This is the null. It's got this cool skill in the drop zone. Bind this card face up, choose 6 of your units, and until the end of turn they get resist on Vanguard rearguard. So it's just another way to stop yourself from being interrupted. Yeah, it's just a way to prevent yourself from being interrupted. It's also got the Sentinel ability, and at the end of the battle, if your opponent's unit was 30k or greater, you can draw a card, so it's kind of cool that way. I also like how it's not reliant on having multiple copies, which is why I only play 2, to make room for Enigman Calm, one of the only non-cosmic heroes in this deck. He's got the nullifying skill, but he's also got this skill in the drop zone. Counterblast, Soul Blast. At the end of the battle that your Vanguard with the burst ability attacked, if that unit's power is 40,000 or greater, you may pay the cost. If you do, return this card to your hand. And if your Vanguard's power is 45,000 or greater, countercharge. So for a Soul Blast, you can get this thing back. And it's not reliant on having 2 of them, which means it's just infinitely cyclable by itself, which is why I can play 2 of it. Gives me a nice selection on the nulls, and I'm not kind of pinned down to playing one specific null. Even though I'm playing 8 grade 3s, I am still playing the 4 Grand Rope. It counts as a grade 3 because I don't want to have to throw away Bravest Rush. I want to be able to put him on the board. On top of that, this thing lets me correct, and if I'm looking for Bravest Rush, I can use him to correct into Bravest Rushed. So he's kind of got triple duty here to get me to the right Vanguard, to get my rear guard, and to pay for stride. So yeah, I'm still playing 4 because this deck kind of flounders around if you don't. Our Lord and Savior. Grand Scout. I hear people say, oh, play this at 2. No, play this at 4. You want to be able to ride one of them, you want one of them to be damaged, you want to be able to use it. There's just... You need to get this card for a Counterblast and a Soul Blast. When he's placed, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose your Vanguard with Gallop in its name and double that unit's attack value until the end of the turn. And at the end of the turn, you retire this unit and Soul Charge. So it's really only a Counterblast that it costs you, but oh my god, suddenly that 40k becomes 80k. If you put a little bit of work in, you can get well over 100k. There's a couple stride units in there that's like 100k. If you have 2 of these, your opponent has to have nulls. They're not stopping 200k. So I love this card, and I know I'm probably going to get some hate for saying this card is so good, but it is. It made this deck completely viable. 2 Commander Laurel, because what's scarier than 100,000 power than restanding 100,000 power? Yeah, Commander Laurel, it's been stapled for like ages. I'm so glad it was a promo, because oh my god, the double rare was so expensive. Basically, you choose 4 of your Dimension Police rearguards and rest them. When your Dimension Police Vanguard hits, you may pay the cost if you do choose a Vanguard Standard. So it's almost like a slightly cheaper end. It's not a situational. You don't have to have another end in your hand. But yeah, being able to restand large amounts of power is crazy. So yeah, that's why I play 2 of him. I wasn't playing 2 of him for a long while, and then he became a promo. I was like, oh. For Cassie, it's the Tara clone. Everybody knows what it does. You will normally use the bind for the soul charge, not the counter charge. I play 4 name crit. We've got to get that soul up and get more draw, get more power. Why not? 2 extra crits, totaling 6 crit. I like this one. It's shiny. There is that like grass cutter. The Metalborg one that can return to deck. Really, you can play it, but it's only 2 crits. But it's up to you. If you feel like you need to reshuffle 2 crits, go for your life. So I play 3 copies of Linka. This thing is just insult to injury. Pop it into the soul. If your Vanguard's 20k, you draw, so it replaces itself. If your Vanguard's 35k or greater, choose one of your Vanguards with the burst ability. Until the end of turn, it gets Soul Blast. When a drive check reveals a grade 3, when I pay the cost, if you do, choose a Sentinel on your opponent's Guardian Circle, and that unit's effects with cannot be hit are nullified. So that one caveat of unless they've got a null, they can't stop 200k, kind of becomes a little bit more scary when, oh, I've got quad drive, and if any of them are a grade 3, your null doesn't work either.
And it stacks.
Oh yeah, absolutely, it stacks. If you use 2 of them and you get 1 grade 3, you kill 2 nulls. So this really forces your opponent to do 2, if not 3 nulls against 1 attack. Beautiful card. I had this at 2, and I'm so glad I bumped it to 3. Last card in the main deck is 4 copies of Riker. It's a recycling stand, GB1. Put this unit on top of your deck, choose a Vanguard. Till the end of turn, it gets 4k. And when this unit attacks a Vanguard, if this unit, its attack is 37k or greater, draw a card. Then you shuffle your deck. So really, you put this on the restander, and you're drawing 2 cards. So she replaces herself, and you go +1. And you've got a recycling stand, so you can restand some of your rear guards that are important to you. On Stride Zone, we play... This is probably the most unnecessary extra we got. Like, I had already celebrated so hard when we got the reveals, and then they revealed this. And we just went, no. So, this thing is like the better version of the old Gallop. So, Bravest Pig, Counterblast 1, choose a face-down card in your G-Zone, turn it face up. When this unit attacks, if it's 40k or greater, you may pay the cost. If you do, it gets drive +1. So, good there. And at the end of the battle, if this unit's power is 80k or greater, stand it and loses 4 drive. Boo-hoo. But some of you may be thinking, 80k, that's quite high. But then it's got this little piece of text here that says continuous GB3. This unit gains 10k for each face-up card in your G-Zone. Which is just insane. G3 alone means there's at least 2 face-up. So, if you have, say, 5 face-up cards, he'll gain 50k. On top of his already 40k, you drop a scout. That's 180,000 on a restanding Vanguard, whose first attack has quad drive. It's just not fair. I love the card. I play it at 3 because you can flip anything. You could literally first turn it, second turn it, third turn it. Generally, you'll second turn, third turn, and then Stark. But, oh my god, so good. Next, 4 copies of Gallop. This is just your flip target for these guys, and then 1 at the end to kind of make use of the 3 face-up ones. If its power is 35k or greater, it gets drive +1. If it's 40k or greater, all your rear guards in the front row get +4 for each of himself in the G zone face up. So you'll give your front row +12. So it's kind of a, if I need to do some rear guard shenanigans, I'll drop him. But generally speaking, you won't get to him. Go on, be free, or die at the bottom of the camera. One lead. There's some trolley plays you can do with Laurel and lead. He's got the skill, when he hits, if he's 30k or greater, draw a card, and if he's 40k, you can choose a rear guard and stand it. And he's got an axe skill, or flip anything face up. Choose up to 5 of your rear guards, rest them. For each unit that was rest, choose one of your rear guards. And until the end of turn, those units gets 4k, so you can like rest 2 and give 2 4k. But really, you're just using it for the flip, and then to try and get the trolley Laurel plays off. He's still one of the best first turns. As is X-Tiger now. X-Tiger used to be one of these things that you kind of had to build up to. But now that you can kind of just get there, he's kind of a good first turn. So you can choose anything in your G-Zone turn and face up. When he attacks a Vanguard, you pay the cost. If you do, he gets 4k for each face-up card in your G-Zone until the end of battle. If the card is 45k or greater, it gets a crit. So you can literally just put crit pressure on, bam, straight away. And of course, you're already at 40k. He'll give himself 44. You just need to give it a 4k buff. There you go. Or a trigger or something, just to get it over that mark. And you're critical on your first stride. I play the 1G8 because why would you not? This is the best G8. G8, when this unit attacks with Vanguard, this unit gets 10k and 1 crit for each of your rear guards until the end of battle. At the end of that battle, if this unit's power is 80,000 or greater, all of your rear guards get 10k for each of this unit's criticals. This thing attacks for like 100k, and then all your rear guards get +60. The best. Speaking of the best, Stark. The best use of him comes from this deck. Thanks to Scout. Scout, not only does he start as a 50k with 3 swings, if you can get 1 Scout, he's 100k 3 times. And then you've got the grade 3 who collects crits for each one. So after 3 100k punches in the face, you go, okay, cool. I've got 2 swings on either side that have crits on them that you will take 4 damage if either of them hit you. This thing just absolutely wrecks, and this deck is where it shines most. Victor and Chaos, they love it. Don't get me wrong, it's a great card, but this deck just takes him and turns him up to fucking 14. 2 copies of Atlantis Dolphin, because I hate Zeal. Realistically, that's what most people play. They play like 1 and Zeal. I hate Zeal because you're already using Counterblast. Why are you and Soul Blast? It's a Soul Blast as well. It's horrible. Why are you wasting your resources on Zeal? You've got a card that does it for a discard instead that's better. The number 13, if he was an 11k base, I would understand it, but because he's a 13k base, it really doesn't make any difference. So I play the second one just so I can double G-Guard into like G8, or if I want to do like a huge Bravest X Gallop, I'll use them to kind of put 4 more, so 40 extra power on it. Yeah, it's very hard to get that if you're not sitting on a full field. So, but it's still a good card. Excaravu. This is the card I play over Zeal, because Zeal is crap. This card, when your opponent's Vanguard attacks, if it's 30k or greater, he gains 10k. Then choose a card from your hand and you may discard it. If you do, choose one of your Vanguards, it gets 4k until the end of turn. So, if you drop both of them, your Vanguard is now 22. Or is it 22 or 21? 21. Which, as we all know, is a magic number. It makes hitting it with little weak rear guards almost impossible. You have to kind of build numbers on it. One of them puts him to 17. So, I just love Excalibur, and I wouldn't play him in any less than 2. Finally, I play 1 Go 5 just because it's what is it, a 30 shield? 30k shield. Yeah, you Soul Blast the card with power 5000 or greater. When this unit's placed on the Guardian Circle, it gains 10k. Then if you've already taken a damage, it gets 5k. Just a 30k, it's just another big shield. Yeah, so the change that some of you might want to make is maybe taking Atlantis Dolphin out. Maybe for a Zeal. I still think having 2 Atlantis Dolphins is fun, just so you can flip more cards. So, thank you so much for bearing with us while we finally got through all of our Stargate decks. We're done. You won't see Stargate on the channel for a little bit now. We're going to focus more on the Dragon Empire and the United Sank.
Yeah.
So
We're going to split the attention. I'm going to do Dragon Empire for the most part.
I'm kind of going to go all over the place.
Yeah.
So thank you for bearing with our our Stargate propaganda. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.